Many years ago, many of you will remember there used to be a rock band which was very famous, Beatles. One of those singers in his childhood, a question was posed to him in the school, what do you want to become when you grow up? This is a very common question in India, but it was that time in England. And he replied that, I want to be happy. And the school came back and said, you did not understand the question. Out came a reply, he said, you do not understand life. That was the reply that young boy gave. And this is exactly what we want here. Swami wants us to be happy. And this retreat is for that happiness, that bliss that Swami has provided us here. Yesterday, the whole day we've been experiencing this. Everything that has been going on here is perfect. Do you agree? Yes. Definitely. We had very powerful Vedam chanting on birthdays in the morning with Nagar Sankirtan, Suprabhatam, and very melodious bhajan singing, bhajan sessions. And our brother Tribhuvan Bhai yesterday, he is a very uplifting and very inspiring talk where he intervened the spiritual message of the retreat, the spiritual theme of the retreat. Love lives by giving and forgiving with his personal Sai experiences. Very inspiring. And then the whole day was structured such that every program item, this is how Swami designed it, was building on the previous item. And finally, we had this spiritual bonanza by our young children, Balvikas SSSGC children, whose loving offering of the program items, which was followed by another loving and dedicated offering by our young adults through their music program. Tears came through our eyes. You all agree? Yes. The whole program, whole day was a joyous ride, if you want to call it, on a mountain of spiritual bliss. And it's a memory that will last forever. Here, the happiness that we get, the joy that we get is a lasting joy. It's not a temporary joy. These memories remain forever. My first retreat that I came in 1998, I still remember many aspects of that. And I'm sure all the retreats will continue to have always those glimpses and all those memories that will last with us forever. This is an upward trend. We all agree? And we will now continue to gain bigger heights as we are in the spiritual ride through this retreat. Our next is a deep dive session with our guest speaker who has come from Canada. His deep understanding of Sai literature and Sai scriptures and Vedam is well acknowledged. He is the zonal chair for the Vedam committee. He is also served as the regional devotional coordinator for Canada, in Canada, and he's also served, I'm told, as a president of one of the biggest Sai centers in North America, Scarborough Sai Center. Many years ago in the 60s, there was this family who decided to go abroad. In 60s and 70s, if anybody growing in India or Sri Lanka or any South Asian country, I would believe, at least looking at myself, going abroad would be going to a place or a city which has modern infrastructure, tall buildings, modern facilities and so on. But this family came from Sri Lanka to a place which that time was described as a stone's throw away from Stone Age in 60s, and that was Puttaparthi. Out of their love and Bhagwan's attraction, this family came from Sri Lanka, from and Bangalore they traveled to Puttaparthi with all the challenges, all because of their love for Swami. And there was this 6-year-old boy who was so inspired, so enamored with Swami's darshan that he dreamt of becoming a Sai student later in his life. And his dream came true. He became a Sai student in 1970s, 76, 78, I don't recollect, but and he stayed there for 6 years, approximately, and he spent his precious time with Swami, becoming a graduate, then going to work in the field of finance in Sri Lanka, Middle East, and then Canada. This speaker, this boy, is with us here, our guest speaker, keynote addresser today, Brother Arun Udayan. So without any further delay, let me present to you our esteemed speaker, Brother Arun Udayan.
Rama, Rama, Sai Rama, Shama, Shama, Sai Shama, Sai Rama, Prema Dhama, Sai Shama, Shanti Vasa. भक्त हृदय सदा विलास अखिल आनंद दायक दासोहम तव साईनाथ दासोहम तव साईनाथ राम Rama, Sai Rama. I offer my loving salutations at the lotus feet of my dearest Mother Sada. Respected elders, brothers, sisters, children, and all Swami's children. Sairam to all of you. Sairam. Nothing in this world happens without the will of God. I think all of us know. Everything is perfect. Yesterday morning I left home at 3 o'clock. The flight was supposed to be at 7:30. I reached the airport at 4. And just half an hour before the flight, they said there was a problem with the aircraft. And the flight was delayed, and they said we will try to rebook. So I was stuck there for 4 hours. And you sit there and nothing much to do. But it gave me a lot of time to reflect on the journey of life itself. Swami sometimes sings this song, which is actually from Namakatha. Eni mishaniki eni jaruguno, evaru uhinchadu. Eni mishaniki eni jaruguno, evaru uhinchadu. It's basically at what moment, what happens, who can guess? That was a song. So I sat there thinking about life and I thought back. It was 27th of May. And I sat there and I just sat there and thought I will nothing to do. Don't know when I will reach. Doesn't matter. I knew Brother Tribhuvan was speaking here. I was looking forward to coming at least halfway through the talk. But that was not meant to be. So I spent time just chanting Swami's name and thinking back. Then I reached here at around 1 o'clock. It was all thoughts of Swami. And today it's filled with Swami from Suprabhata members. I was awake for 22 hours yesterday. Because I went to sleep at 1 because there was a meeting from India. It lasted till 1 a.m. Then I came, I sat there and I walked around, and today is filled with Swami. And tomorrow is filled with Swami. That was a blessing from Swami, so that we could think of Swami. But I thought back, 5 years ago, on the 27th of May, between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m., I left home with my wife, who was terminally ill with advanced cancer. And we drove to the hospital. She had to be carried because she couldn't walk, so I carried her. And I sat in the hospital, waiting for the doctor, not knowing what to do. About 36 hours passed. Doctors came, looked at her. Condition was worsening as time progressed. At around 28th of May, today's 28th of May, around this time, I realized it was a matter of hours. She was dying in front of my eyes, and she wouldn't even make a step. She would say, "I want," and then she'll pass out. Can you get? And then she, one sentence was not complete. So I sat there wondering, Swami, nothing, what can we do? Like we can only think of Swami. So I was just, then I said, Swami, I don't, because in the hurry, I didn't bring Swami's vibhuti. I thought I should give her some vibhuti at least, if whatever it does. So I sat there and I did not want to call anyone and say, can you bring vibhuti? Because people think, what is this guy thinking? So I said, Swami, I would like to have vibhuti. And within about 2 or 3 hours, suddenly a family came by. Out of the blue, they felt suddenly something told them that they have to come to the hospital. No, not too many people knew. But they came. They brought me food, so I could eat. And they brought vibhuti. Swami, they said somebody from Bharti had come, so they gave me vibhuti. So I was so touched. So I told Swami, I said vibhuti. That's what I told my wife. She had not eaten for 36 hours. She said, get me some water and mix it and give me. So I got a cup of water, put vibhuti and gave, she drank. After that she was a bit alert. A few hours later, I think about 5 or 6 o'clock, doctors came for their hourly checkup of the pulse. They couldn't find the pulse. The ECG was flat. So they came, they said maybe the meter was not right. They brought different meters, almost 5, 6, and they said something is not right. So they called the ICU doctors to come and they rushed. They came and they couldn't find the pulse. They asked me, are you feeling okay? She said, yeah, I'm okay. Is there any pain? She said, my feet are frozen, that's all. They said, we can't find the pulse. So the doctor said, okay, let's see what's happening in the vein. And they cut the vein on both hands and there was no blood flow. They asked her, "Are you okay?" She said she is fine. Then they said, "We're going to try something. We're going to cut the artery in the right hand first." The blood was not moving through. Then they said, "We will cut the artery on the right hand side." The blood was not flowing. They looked at each other and they said, she was talking. She was alert. They said, "How is your heart feeling? Are you feeling any pain?" She said, "Not really." She was alert. Throughout the day she was, dozing off and not complaining symptoms, but at that time then she told me, "My feet are feeling cramped, numb. Can you just massage? Feet are feeling painful." So I massaged. And the doctor said, "This looks too funny for us. We are going to declare code blue." So they told my wife, "We are going to declare code blue and we are going to sedate you and take you to the ICU." So I said, "Okay." So I was massaging her feet and I said, "Sai Ram, just pray to Swami, he knows what he is doing." She said, "Sai Ram." And they sedated her and took her to the ICU. And from then, within a few hours, organs were shutting off and that was it. So I realized that was 5 years ago. But what gave strength was that I am with you. The same Swami, 5 years later, I am spending the same time thinking of him. Everything is his gift. Everything is his gift. The greatest miracle is that we are able to think of him. Because mind is the toughest thing. If the mind is able to think of the Lord, it cannot happen without the Lord willing it. The Lord is always giving. I think the theme of this meeting, this retreat is love lives by giving and forgiving. Self lives by getting and forgetting. I don't know whether we have understood that sentence of Swami properly. Because we think love lives giving, you give. And forgiving, we think it's pardoning. Self lives by getting and forgetting, not remembering. I have a slight, small, different interpretation. Love lives by giving. That means you are alive only by giving. Love lives for giving. You are alive only to give. Love lives for giving. Self lives by getting. We survive only by getting and grabbing. Self lives for getting. We are alive only to get and grab. So the Swami is always giving and he came only to give. The avatar itself is for giving. So, forgiving also may be okay. But I always felt forgiving was much more appropriate. Because Swami makes these statements and we think we have understood. Sometimes it takes lifetimes to understand what he really meant. Because Swami plays with words, I think all of you know. So, if we are living for the purpose of giving to the world, then we have attained some beautiful love. So I will try to narrate my lessons here at Swami's lotus feet in this theme. I hope it. Yesterday, Brother Tribhuvan was telling a story and it triggered my memory, so I will start off from there. He talked about a little boy who told Swami the story of, he told him to sit on his car. Listen to him, he wanted to show his bedroom. And he told the story of shooting, crocodile and saving. And then he asked the gift of, Swami, I want the keys for your car. Brother Tripun had first part remembered, but the second part he didn't remember. So I thought it's a good opportunity for me to share that. Do you know who that boy was? Any guesses? I think I have told Brother Tripun. Anyone? That boy is Swami's student called Radha Krishna. How many of you know Radha Krishna? See, sometimes we ask the Lord for something, but Lord gives much more than we asked for. We may ask for something worldly, but the Lord sees much more than that. This boy asked for Swami's keys. Swami's car keys were with him throughout his life. Swami, he said, sit on my car. And he sat in Swami's car for a second. He asked Swami, see my room. Swami said, you can see my room always. So he left. See, that is the way the Lord gives. We don't understand. We don't even know what we asked. But Lord gives as much as He can. So it's always good for the small children to be taught to ask the Lord. They may not remember what they asked for, but the Lord remembers. And He will give for lifetimes what you have asked for, more than you asked for, more than you can never even imagine that you have asked for. Kuchela went and gave some little bit of poha and the Lord gave everything. Dhruva, as a 3-year-old child, went to ask for the boon of sitting on father's lap. He is eternally a Dhruva. Brother Dhruva's brother's name is Dhruva. So that reminded him, he was standing there and I was remembering Dhruva, and then we ask, so always teach children to ask something innocently, without anything. And the Lord is pleased by that. So that goes for myself, brother said, I dreamt to become a student of Swami. When I was young. I used to read Bhakti Vijayam. I don't know how many of you have read the Bhakti Vijayam. Okay, these are stories of, Tamil actually is written in Marathi, it was originally written. These are stories of the crop of devotees in Maharashtra, all Vital devotees. I got that as a prize for one of my Balavikas and I would have read it about 100 times. Yesterday I was listening to the stories of, the Balavika children. They're so fortunate. I don't know whether they don't know even that they're fortunate. But they were reeling out Upanishadic statements, quotations. I was so touched. Because the words have so much meaning that once you utter, that changes your life. Just the way Valmiki was changed. He said, Mana, and he wrote the Ramayana. Did he ever imagine that he would write? So, always ask, even sang bhajans. We don't know how. We have gotten so many merits, throughout our life and throughout many lifetimes. Even if you do not get moksha, it doesn't matter. This itself is a great blessing. So as a child, I wanted to be a devotee. Swami, I didn't want anything. I wanted to sing like the Gopalas and Gopis. That was my imagination as a child. And I used to pray every day. My mother said, if you want, you pray. So, I used to pray. But then you grow older, you forget the original request, and then you are distracted by the world. And so that happened to me, and when I went to Parthi and as a student, there were many things which he gave, the lessons he gave. And so I thought I would just recollect some, because whether you would like it or not, I would like to listen to myself, because it is a recollection for me. So I would see, as a student, I was there for about 7 years. I did not get that many chances that many trinkets and toys, I would say. But there were many things Swami gave, and I think the greatest thing which he gave is his teachings. We may think, Swami, I will not get anything, you have not given me anything. But the most precious things which he brought was the teachings he brought. And that he has given it to everyone. But we don't even remember that we have got. See, yesterday I was told I should not miss the pakoda because there is one devotee who comes to make pakoda. So I was, when Brother Venkat Kodamudi, I think he's the one who told me. And then it triggered my thought. We enjoyed the pakoda, we went and ate, it was very tasty, no doubt. But every day when we drink water, do you remember the cook who made the water? Do we enjoy the water cup which we drink? We get and we forget who gave us. We breathe. Do you remember the cook who made the air which makes us alive? We forget because we are selfish. God has given us everything in the world. We forget. The more we remember and don't forget, then we become like the Lord who never forgets what we asked for. And what we didn't ask for also. So he is like that. I remember one day, when you are in Bharti, sometimes you suddenly feel you are the greatest devotee. You suddenly feel Swami everywhere. You walk as if you are walking towards the Lord. So in the hostel, we used to get up. One day you say, okay, today I am going to be the ideal devotee. So you don't talk to anyone. You look down. You think of Swami all the way. So we walk from the hostel to Mandir. So one such day I remember I came with the devotees and I was not paying attention because I was at the heights of devotion, So you really want to prove to Swami, you are going to see ideal devotee today. Okay, so Swami must be laughing. So one day I went to darshan like this and I sat along with all the boys. Everything was good. I sat for meditation. Swami was not coming. Doing japa and all that. And then Swami came out for darshan, he went around, collected people, gave interview and came out. I was deep in, contemplation. So you feel suddenly, I am really a good devotee, you pat yourself on the back. Then Swami, after that, he suddenly called a few boys and they went inside and they brought some boxes. And then Swami was distributing pens to all the students. Swami personally. So I was also expectantly waiting. Swami missed me. I didn't get the pen. Everyone was having the pen. I didn't have a pen. It bothered me so much. From the heights of devotion, I forgot everything. I thought, how can Swami being divine forget that there was a boy here? Everything is all knowing. But he doesn't know that I was here. The mind takes a flip. And from that point onwards, I was the worst devotee you can ever think. I was thinking, what is the reason I didn't get these are the thoughts. So I walked back from the bhajans went on after that. I don't know what bhajans was sang. I was not even thinking of Swami. I was only meditating on the pen which I didn't get. I was walking back. And I remembered what was the state of mind when I went. Then I realized a pen distracted me so much that I forgot God. I even hated God. So stupid of me. So that was the lesson. Next time I said, now I've learned the lesson. Swami, next time you can't trick me. Another occasion came by, See, we were from Sri Lanka. From Sri Lanka to go to India was like coming from India to US. Because money, your money was worthless there, in India. Every 2 rupees, I think, at that time was 1 rupee in India. Not only that, we are from a very low middle class family. I had only 2 pairs of white for the longest while. And they were not white at that time. You had to wash and it was more or less like yellow. Yeah, more or less like a sannyasi. And it was also fraying at the ends. How long can you go on? Sometimes you give it to Dhobi and they beat it nicely that it's all frayed. Actually, if I was living here, it would have been fashion. But there it was not. Okay, so one such time, so sometimes you feel self-conscious, you wear that white only and go, others around you are better dressed. But then you try not to, not to ignore it and try to focus on Swami. One such time, Swami, again another distribution. This time it was, I don't know whether you know this, Far Eastern white shirts, silk shirts with, this design, I don't know what you call them. It's not safari, it was silk material with design, it's some embroidery work type of thing. I don't know whether Tribhuvan will remember. So those shirts Swami was distributing. Next to me there was an Indonesian boy. He was sitting, that day he was sitting, very well to do. He had a trunk full of white clothes. So Swami was distributing the shirts, and Swami forgot me. Everyone was carrying this shirt and going back to the hostel. I was the only one, at least, because at such times, we forget the word. You only worried about only you exist. I don't know how many else didn't get, but that doesn't matter. I didn't get, that's more important. And I was going back. And I was remembering this pen incident. So I thought, no, I should not be distracted. But my mind was arguing with me. See, pen was okay, you had felt. But here, you really need clothes. There were others, fellows have enough clothes. And he had similar shirts, which I have seen him wear. But he got next to me. How can Swami forget? So there is no way. That day I was not even successful in convincing myself. So and this didn't last for one day, a few days, because next day everyone was wearing that shirt and coming. I was still wearing that very fashionable, yellowish shirt and coming, and my mind was just going at it again, How can Swami do this? But this you should understand, in spite of the fact, not only college fees were paid, Swami was paying my hostel fees also. For 7 years, Swami paid me hostel fees. Swami gave me pocket money whenever we ran out. In spite of all this, the mind plays tricks. You forget what all the Lord is doing. Tricks of the mind. So this went on for a few days. I thought I was resolved at the pen incident that I will not be shaken, but this shook me. One week passed and I couldn't recover from this. Bhajan, you sit and you think about this. Coming to the, why? This question is why. And after a week, after after bhajan, I was going out. One devotee from Sri Lanka, his name is Lal Haidaramani, I don't know whether any of you know. He was my Balavika's guru also, a multi-millionaire. In those days, you can, he had come to Bharti and he had brought clothes because he was one of the largest garment manufacturers and exporters. So he had brought 7 pairs of clothes, shirt and pant stitched, undergarments, everything full, empty wardrobe. When he came, he was so, because by then my father was working for him, so he had done lots of help. So so devotee of Swami. So he brought. So that day I walked with, a sudden surge of devotion came. That Swami is taking care. And we went to the hostel, again I was back to, this sense of gratitude for Swami, for looking after and all that. All good memories came back. And this shirt episode was forgotten. So the next day I wore, one of those pairs of clothes and came for that shirt. Feeling with a lot of gratitude that Swami is looking after. But he will test and see where we are. And that day again, after bhajan and interview, Swami was distributing the same shirt again. So that day, I said, Swami, I don't need it. Today you can forget. And now I am past. So Swami came, distributed. He missed me and again went. I said, no problem. Then he came back, picked one shirt and came back to me and looked at me deep into the eyes. And then he hit me with it and then went. So sometimes, this is the way we are. Our mind plays these tricks and we should always try not to forget what the Lord is doing to us every day. I am breathing, I should be grateful. I get water to drink. So, there's water.
Yes.
Sorry, excuse me. Swami had sent. He's a chef and he sent it also. So we should remember with gratitude everything that the Lord has given, never forget. Because the day we forget, we lose faith, we lose love, we lose everything. Because the Swami says in Mapatyam, Purna Premayandu Puttuna Saukyambu Purna Premayande Puttuna Saukyambu Satya Tyaga Shanti Shanti Labhu Premayele Kunna Shemambuledaya Premayele Kunna Shemambuledaya Satya Sai Mat Prema Mutha Satya Sai Mat Prema Utha Satya Sai Mat Prema Mutha. This Padhyam, first let me give you the meaning, because this Padhyam is also a very important Padhyam for me, so I will go tell that story also. I hope that I don't know, I will forget time, brothers, just remind me.
We can go till 11.
Okay.
I will tell.
5 minutes before you tell me. I will go on talking whole day, if I am left. Purna Premayandu Puttuna Saukyam. Prema which is full, from there all Saukyam, all Sukha basically, all happiness all comfort is born out of Purna Prema. That means Prema which is complete. Swami says in Narada Bhakti Sutra, Narada is saying for devotion, Sa Parama Prema Rupa. Okay. Bhakti is the fullness, the supreme love. So Purna Premayante Puttra Saukhyam. So only this love for God, which is the Purna Prema, from that every all thing good is born. Swami says that gives us Satya, Tyaga, Shanti, Shanti. Up means it grants us truth, sacrifice, Tyaga, through that Shanti, peace, and Kshama or Shanti, which is forbearance. Apparently this love will grant these four qualities. Then Swami says, Premaye lekuna kshemampu ledaya. Without this love, there is no welfare. Kshema means welfare, well-being. It doesn't exist. Satya Sai Mata Prema Motor. The words of Satya Sai is like a bundle of love which you carry around. It is also Prema Motor. That means it's a spring of love. Because the Swami is the source of love, is the spring of love. As soon as we tap him, that will flow through us. I think yesterday I was listening to, I think, the quotation of Swami. Swami said, Emi lena burilo, emaina cherchavachu. In a head which is, it doesn't have anything, you can put something. Emi mo nandihanna. If something is all filled in your head, can it become empty? Without it being empty, it can be filled it with anything good, anything beneficial. So it's all about, the Lord being tapped. Because He is the source, we have to fill, we have to remove everything. Anything selfish, anything worldly, we remove, then can be filled. I'm also reminded of, sorry if, each thought triggers Swami. Yesterday the children were talking about Radha, Gopis, how they were singing. In 1985, Swami did this Radha drama. I got to play some music for that, so I remember the song. Swami sing. Prema rahita marubhumulalo Premankura pemponda Premaveshamuto Prema sudha varshamuvarshada Premanadhulu pravahim pagamurali Ganamucheyagade Krishna, Gana Mucheyagade. Swami sings this song so many times. The gopis were the greatest devotees. They were singing to the Krishna, saying, in the desert lands of our heart, without love, which are devoid of love. If gopis are saying, we all feel, we are spreading the message of 5 values to the world and all that. But here a gopi is saying, O Lord, in our hearts, which is devoid of love, which is like a desert, barren land, in that, for the saplings of prema, love, for them to grow, Pempanda, prema sudha, prema veshamuto, fully absorbed, mad with love. Prema sudha varshama varshama. For the showers of love, which is like honey. Prema sudha varshama, to shower. Prema nadhulu pravahim, like this, the rivers of love for them to flow, so that they will merge with the ocean of love. Prema sudha, prema nadhulu pravahim, murali kanam cheyagare. He says, play on your flute. What is this flute? An empty piece of bamboo with 9 holes. When our body doesn't have anything, if everything is emptied out, then the love will flow from the Lord. Because we cannot even have love, we can only channel by emptying ourselves, and the Lord does it. So that is the story. So this Padyam was sung by Swami in 1984 as the first Padyam when he started a series of discourse on the Bhagavad Gita. So in 1984, I had completed my bachelor's degree and I was applying for my master's degree in Parthi. When I was in my degree, everyone was getting gold medals, so I wanted to get gold medal also for my bachelor's. So I tried, I just missed it by a couple of marks. So I said, means if you don't get gold medal, nobody even knows that you studied. So I thought for my masters I should get gold medal. Okay, so I was, some human desire, not to prove that you are more intelligent, but just so that the Lord gives something. You can mostly we want these things because we can tell others, I am a gold medalist. For the world to know, we know all of us think that we are smart, but the world should know. Sometimes you have money, it's not good enough. Others should know that I have money. It is human nature, Mind plays these tricks. So what happened, I wanted to get. So, then, I was pretty good in some subjects. I was looked up to by others, so I thought, no problem, I had. So that year, the first time they brought into work that you had to write entrance examination to get into the masters. Before that, only students who did not study in Puttaparthi wrote entrance examination. That year, Swami said, even students here should write. So, it was not a big problem, so I also went and wrote the entrance examination. The selection list came. So everyone went, so I also, normal, just formality, to go and see. My name was not on the list. I was shocked, really shocked. I hear someone who wanted to get gold medal in MCOM, but didn't even get the seat. So I was quite puzzled by it. So I went to the director of the campus and asked, "Sir, my name is not there. Are you sure, all the names are there?" He said, "Yes, all the names are there. My name is not there." Then he said, "You didn't get selected." So I asked, "Sir, why is any reason?" He said, "I was not in the selection committee, your name is not there, my name is not there." So I went to the warden, at the time it was Narasimha Murthy. He said, "Boy, if your name is not there, why are you asking me?" So he also, they were just avoiding me, they didn't even talk to me. So I went to Chakravarti Garu, he was registered. I knew Chakravarti Garu very well because he was helping us with visa, every year Swami will tell Chakravarti Garu, boys visas, he will say. So he was like my local guardian of sorts, So I went to him. He was also very dismissive, he was not even looking straight into my eyes. He was just, if it's not there, you are not there, So he also dismissed me. I was dejected. And now the classes started and I was not in the program. So then I forgot, I was unhappy that I didn't get MComC, but maybe Swami has other plans. I think Brother Tripan also was finished, he had completed his masters then, he was waiting Swami to tell what to do. But I didn't know, see, my problem was that when you are not a student, you can't get visa. No extension of visa, so that means I have to leave the country. So I didn't know what to do. Days passed. I was getting depressed and more depressed. What to do? Swami is not talking, no admission. And every day I will walk and yearningly look at the institute building. Not knowing what to do. One day evening I was walking by and one of our lecturers called Mr. Shivabhat, he was coming from the opposite direction. I was feeling lonely, alienated and walking. He said, Arun, where are you? Why are you not attending classes? He said. I said, sir, I didn't get admission. He said, you didn't get admission? Then I said, no. Then he said, why? I said, I also don't know, sir. I am also asking and I am not getting. I mean, staying in the old hostel, but Swami didn't kick me out yet. So, behavior-wise, maybe, even some things which I may have done which may warrant me being thrown out, he has not done that. So, maybe I didn't do well in the entrance exam. That's the only other thing I can think of. So, by process of elimination, I have come to realize that I didn't do well in the exam. He said, who told you? I said, I don't have any other reason. He said, no, that's not right. That's not true. I said, I don't know, sir. He said, but you don't know. You got the highest marks, he said. And then he, as the words spread out, he said, okay, play to Swami, and then he walked away. Because he told me something which he shouldn't have told me. Because I scored the highest in the entrance exam. I stood there transfixed. Somewhere near, Vidyagiri Arch. I didn't know what to think. I thought in the world around, merit is a problem. If you have merit. But here in Puttaparthi, with Swami being there, all knowing Swami, how can this happen? Then I knew there's only one culprit. But the list would have gone to Swami. Swami has a veto power. I know about Security Council here, I think, UN. So Swami is the only council, he was the central council at that time. Okay. Central Trust. He has this habit of ticking or striking. So he must have struck my name. Then all that time when I was thinking all sorts of reasons, I knew this is the situation. So I said, now you can't challenge Swami, I don't know, as Tribhuvan said, my mother also used to argue with Swami, just the way Tribhuvan said, his mother could ask. If my mother was there, she would have fought with Swami on my behalf, but she wasn't there in Bharti. But I didn't know what to do. So I said, okay, now we know what the situation is. See, the problem is, you sit there and think, I did well, so I should get. But it gave me a lot of time to think, because you're not doing anything throughout the day. Because you were attending bhajan and you had plenty of time at hand. Mind, So, but it's a time for contemplation. I realized, see, when you are not good in studies, you will ask Swami, help me. Swami will help you and you get good in studies. Then you do well, then you will say, Swami, I want to do well in the exam. He will help you do well in the exam. Then you will say, I got good marks, now I should get a good job. Then God will give the job. Then you will say, I got a good job, now I need to get promotion, more salary. See, we think we deserve. We have a sense of entitlement. We don't understand. To start with, see, I don't know whether any talks, this verse is chanted, Mukam karoti vachalam pangam langayate girim. We think the dumb shall talk Somebody who, who can't walk will climb the hills. We think it's somebody else, but actually it's each one of us. If we identify the body cannot speak. The body cannot walk. It's the Shivam within the body which makes us talk. I am talking means actually I am Mukha. If I am talking, the Lord is making me talk. So actually that's where we start from. But we have this sense of entitlement, demand. Swami, this is merit. But who gave you the merit? He gave the merit. But we think it is as if we are born with that merit. So much the Lord has given, we forget. So I realized, today He will make you dumb and somebody else the brightest. Today He can make that person the dumb one and you can make the brightest. Swami will say, I can make the sky into earth, earth into sky. If we think we are the sky, suddenly tomorrow I will be earth, down on earth. And Swami is another Padyam. I'm sorry, I am boring you with Padyam, but Swami says, E Sakti che Nakshatralalla Tharala Viraka Vilichiyunde, Minta Vilichiyunde. Like this, the stars, through the Shakti of Prema, are able to be up in the sky without falling down. That means that's the love. It's the Lord who can keep the stars up, or they can disappear and disintegrate. It's all in the hands of the Lord. That is Lord. That is love. So we sometimes take things for granted. So I'll come back to the story. So, so suddenly, you slowly get knowledge. But Swami, make sure you sit there, think, contemplate. Because Swami actually gives you even the thoughts to think. He will give you the lessons to contemplate. So in our life, we face different situations in life, and Swami has already given the knowledge. It is just, Swami says, in this world, God, all diseases are created after the cure. He says, hunger is a disease. But God has already created fruits, plants. Then He gives the disease. Our job is to find what God has created and eat it. So in this world, even if you have problems, the solution has already been given to the Lord, by the Lord. I think it's in Indian tradition. They say if your snake has bitten, the doctor will come to the place where the snake has bitten. The antidote will be found within a few yards of where the snake was. So that is the way the world is created. For every problem, the solution is already created by the Lord. He creates a problem, so you find the solution. But if you don't find the solution, then something wrong with us. God will say, I am given in both. So actually, for most of us to face the challenges in this life, God has already given us the tools to work with. So all this gyan, as they say, you get. So then one day Swami comes out and he says, you guys are wasting time. And Swami said, see what was happening, another problem I had when I was without admission was, in the hostel, Swami was paying the hostel fees. But here I have to eat with money which I had, I don't know how long. So I had budgeted about 2 rupees per day for meals. So I can stretch what I have for as long as I can. So sometimes I was eating only once a day during that time. So you didn't get admission, you are without money, and you think you are in God's land. That's where the mind will play. But I said, Swami, it's okay. Dhruva was just breathing, and he was saying, he didn't have anything. So I will eat with one chapati. So one day Swami comes out and he says, you guys all wasting time, all no use. He says, we have some work for you to do, and I think Brother Tribhuvan was there. Swami was building those arches. I don't know whether you remember in the 1984. in the Darshan grounds, the arches were built. No, it was a shed actually.
Shed.
So devotees could sit there because the sun was hot or rain. So Swami said, devotees are all suffering, so we are going to build. So he said, you have to dig. So every day after morning bhajan, we have to dig those holes, where they can put poles, pour concrete. So we will work for about half an hour. Swami will look from supervision by Swami. He will stand on the balcony and watch. And then he will say, okay, now stop. Then he will come down and bring a basket of apples and he will say, come and take rest. So he will distribute apple, we will eat the apple. Then he will say, now you go and work again. So one of my meal was taken care of by apples by Swami. And so after a few days I said, Swami, I can live like this forever. Digging something and doing something, it's okay. Because see, sometimes we have to, if our karma balance has gotten... See, Swami says, one Swami called the students and asked, Swami made it a practice for, even till today, the students distribute the prasad. So Swami once asked the boys, do you know why I asked you to distribute the prasad? Swami has more confidence in the... everyone will have different ideas. Swami wants. Swami said, by you doing some work, I can give you some grace. Laddu is not, prasad we are distributing. The only thing you are doing is you are taking the laddu, which is somebody has made, and giving it to somebody. Swami said, that action will earn merit so that I can do something for you. If you don't do that, I can't give you. So, Swami made us work every day. We were digging. I said, Swami, no problem. Apple a day keeps the doctor away, like that. But the reality was, Swami was personally handing over the apple. And it was a mango season also. Because, it was June, June, July, its temperature also very high. But mango season. So mangoes also. And Swami was telling how we should eat the mango also Swami was telling. Nicely mash it nicely and dip so that you don't have to go and wash your hand. Then you suck it. Like that Swami will give some tips. But it went on like this. I said, Swami, I don't need any seed. This is good enough. Then one day Swami comes out for darshan and he calls for the microphone, evening. And he gave a talk and he started talk with this Padhyam. And he said, there are many who come to me, but they are all interested in the world. They are not really interested in what I have come to give. They want worldly vidya. They are upset that they are not getting seat in the university program. But I have come here to teach Atma Vidya. Useless fellows, don't know what is important, what I can give and what they can get. Anyone who wants to enroll in this program of Atma Vidya, buy notebooks and take notes every day. Then your life is worth something. So, I thought that entire discourse was only for me. See, this Swami comes and sometimes he will look like this. Every devotee feels, actually they look there only to look at them. This is everyone's experience. I'm sure, see, I'm talking to all of you who have thousands of, such experiences. But, at that time, you think, the entire thing was only for me. That's the way I felt. Because one sentence Swami said, people didn't get university seat. So I thought it's good. So I said, Swami, okay, MCom no need. At least elementary education in Atma Vidya will be beneficial. So I bought a notebook and every day I said, because we were staying in the old hostel, before the others come, we could sit in the front row. So I said, I forgot everything about MCom. I said, I am in the front row. So I took notes. And Swami said, every day I am going to give talk. And I will also have test. I will check whether you know the answer. Okay, whether you have learned what I have taught. So I was fully prepared to impress Swami if at all he asked me a question. And so this happened in 84 till today, he has never asked me a question. But then I realized, when Swami asks, he asks practical questions. In life, he will send the information and we will see, let me see whether he has learned the lesson. That's what I realized much later, after about 4 decades. But that time I was prepared. If suddenly, if Swami asks, others will look at you and you give the answer, you are happy. And Swami will say, Manchi, public acknowledgement. So I was a series of talks. So this went on for about, Swami gave about 30 odd discourses, but about 27 discourses. One day Swami comes out for morning darshan. Suddenly Swami looks at me and says, hey, you're not attending classes? See, almost the first semester was done. I didn't know what to say. I just stood. Swami said, why are you not attending classes? So I said, Swami, didn't get admission. You didn't get admission? Then Swami had Gokak. And our vice chancellor came running. This boy, and there was another boy also. He said, these two boys, they should be studying the MCom. Give them the admission. He said, yes, Swami. Then Swami said, go and see him in the office, he will give a chit. You go and join the hostel. So, what Swami does, only he knows. He plays this practical, it looks jokes actually, but whatever I learned during that time has stood me in great stead to face life. He puts you through a program. So he didn't finish with that, I'm sorry, I'm looking at the time. So what happened, I joined the hostel. And I think second or third day, hostel, there also some activity going on. So there was a photo caption. I think some of the stories I have already told, and maybe on YouTube some of you may have watched. Sorry if it's boring, but I will repeat it 100 times. Because I only few, so I will repeat. So unless I become creative and come up with something new. So I don't have that ability. So what happened was, there was a photo caption contest. It was a picture of a small monkey, miniature monkey. It was sitting in a human hand and it was resting like this. That was and we had to write, a caption. So I looked at it and I said, my monkey mind is at rest only in Swami's hands. Only if I give it to him, he can handle it, it becomes like that monkey which is resting. Otherwise it's jumping around. So I wrote the caption as, the monkey mind is always at rest in God's hand. And I put it. So the following 2-3 days, they announced the winner and my name was the winner. So it was just one other activity, so I just went about my life, hostel life normally. And the warden summoned me 2 days later and he said, I went to see him and he said, see Swami, I gave a report of weekly hostel activities and I told him about the photo caption contest. Swami said he wants to give prize to the winner. So it was a prize giving ceremony. So he said, Swami will give prize, you go early before the line and sit in the front and Swami will give prize. I said, okay. So there was another, the boy who coordinated, his name is Prabal Mal. So he went and bought a book and wrapped it up And we went and sat in the front. Swami came out that day, he was still, Gita discussions were continuing. He came out and he said, "Where is the prize winner?" Like that he asked before the discourse. So I kneeled up, he said, okay. Then he looked at the person, who was helping. There's always door duty, the people who help Swami in the interview room with odd things, they are like gophers. So there was a person, a devotee called Mr. Kyle Das. So he got up, he went inside and came out. He also brought a wrapped thing. So this boy, Prabal, who went, he gave it to Swami and Swami took that. He took from Brother Kyle Das and he told me, "Tisko." So I took Pada Namaskaram and Swami gave both. So I took Pada Namaskaram and took it. Then Swami turned around and then he turned back and said, "Give it back." So I gave both the books, he looked at both and he gave me back one and he had the other one. And he ripped it open. And he said, "Get me a pen." So somebody gave a pen. Swami flipped it open and he signed. And then he gave it to me. I took it and I sat down. The book which Swami had apparently gotten wrapped, then ripped open the package and autographed it and then gave me was Gita Vahini. I realized that day the importance of dedicating time to reading and studying what Swami has written. Swami took a lot of pains in driving home, So he has come to give us this knowledge of Atma Vidya. Yesterday also he was saying, "I give you until you are ready to take what I have come to give." We ask for all only small things. And we forget most of what he gives. It is one of the debt which we have to pay. It's a rina of knowing Swami, to devote time, effort, not to just read, to study, contemplate Swami's literature. Seriously. That is what he has given, he has bountifully given. Whether people saw Swami physically or not, he has given. See, most of my experiences have been without direct talks, most of the times. But he drives home the lesson. And that is free to everyone. In receiving that gift of Swami, all of us are equal. It's equally available for all of us. So let's get and live forgetting that and never forget that. With that I will stop. Sairam everyone. Silent. I offer my loving salutations at the lotus feet of my dearest Mother Sairam. Sairam. I was given a set of questions, so I will start off with that. I would rather speak on what you all are interested in rather than what I am interested in. So I will start off with that. And if there are no questions, I will move on to whatever comes to me. So there are basically three questions. So I'll first start off with, how did you cope with your wife's passing? Did Swami say why? How do you deal with grief and death of your loved ones? I think so. I grouped them into one. The second question is, did you ever ask Swami why you have to go through this? The third one is your hand is so full, still you do all organizations work. How? Apparently I do with a smile, so many people feel I'm too serious. So I will start off with the first one. How do you deal with grief and death of your wife? And did Swami say why? See, my marriage was arranged by Swami. Because it so happened my father-in-law was a librarian at the institute. So they were looking for a match for their daughter. So apparently, if somebody suggested, he would write a letter and ask Swami. At one point, there were 3 which came apparently at the same time. So he was waiting and he got up and asked Swami, I have 3 alliance suggestions. What should I pursue? Then Swami looked at it and he picked mine and said, do this. So father-in-law contacted us and we also went. So we said, okay, if that is so. So my mother was very happy. She was praying and somebody from Prashant Relief writes a letter saying that we have introduced, and of course she was ecstatic. So we went to Parthi and of course Swami never looked at me, never said anything. So 2 years we were waiting out. We were fine, but my father-in-law was very troubled. So at one point he asked for a date and Swami said, bless the date. Then he said, Swami has blessed the date, and invitation was printed and our wedding took place. But Swami was not present, Swami did not speak with me. But it happened in Pathamandiram. Pathamandiram, I don't know, the old mandir of Swami, which became a Kalyana Mandapam. So I still remember wedding took place in Andhra style. I sat there on the stage and I just, that was you see, my mother was saying, I should ask Swami, because Swami had materialized thali for my brother, older brother. So Swami should do something. Without that, at some point I said, Swami did not come down on earth to be a marriage priest, a marriage broker, a barber. This is the way we treat Swami. We will say, Swami, our child, cut their hair, he will cut. I will say, Swami, doctor, all this. But he is Bhavaroga Vaidya. He came, God doesn't come down to give watches, rings. He doesn't have to, we can buy it in a store. Of course, with a lot of love he gives. The love with which he gives is more. My philosophy is that Swami came down to explain to us what actually is going on in everyone's life. If I go there and Swami gives me a ring, or Swami gives me money, it is to prove that wherever you are in this world, every being in this world is actually being looked after by God. But you all don't know. So he came down to show, this is what I am doing, this is my job. It's not that one individual was picked up because they were fortunate. I look back and I don't really deserve that I have done something that I deserve that God's attention. But God is attending to everyone. It is just that in a classroom, if the teacher is explaining something, he will say, okay, boy, you get up, one student will be picked up and she will demonstrate the lesson through that student. Of course, that student will behave as if I am the favorite of the child, the teacher, and so on. But the teacher actually does not care. The message is for everyone in the classroom. There may be others sitting there and saying, oh, that fellow is getting chance, today the teacher is talking. They will miss the lesson. The fellow who is thinking, I am the best, he will also miss the lesson. The intelligent ones will pick up the lesson. And the class is done. The fellow will think, I am my teacher's pet, and he has missed the entire class. And those who are jealous also, they also miss the class. This is Swami's Leela. Okay, so I told my mother, let us not worry. You want a marriage, we will do the marriage. See, in Pathamandiram it is happening, so let us do it. Actually, the day before, so we did not even do the thali for the wedding. The thali is generally done on auspicious day. You go to the goldsmith and do. My parents didn't do anything. So my father-in-law came and said, tomorrow is the wedding. And my mother said, we don't have thali. He, as if it was pay arranged, Tamil they will say, as if somebody has been beaten by ghosts, as they say. He was shocked. And he said, what to do? And he was looking at me. So I said, we will do something. Then I told my mother, we should not bug Swami for a thali, that he should bless. I don't want him to bless me for a wedding, marriage. I would rather get his blessing for something better. You want a marriage, we will do the marriage. So, previous evening I went to the Puttaparthi village, searched for a goldsmith, and that fellow did the thali. So that's how it was. Then our marriage took place. So that I still remember, just after marriage, we could go to the Pathamandiram altar, where Swami, original mandir, we can take blessing. And I said, Swami, I don't know what I deserved, you have done the marriage. Make sure that, whatever you wish has come. So the thing is, when my wife was passing, I remembered that. It was exactly 25 years, our marriage lasted. But when somebody dies, we just get attached. What exactly is attachment is, I will not have this person in my life. I will not have, the dead person may be happy that they are freed of all this. Must have been waiting, praying silently. But for example, many older people suffer, they're bedridden. We still pray, Swami, let them not die. But that person must be praying every day, let me go, I don't want to suffer. So many times we feel sad because we don't have somebody in our life. We will not be able to see the person. So the day she passed, actually when it was happening, because my wife was initially troubled because we have two children who are disabled, they need round the 24-hour care. So she was worried about them. If I go, who will look after? Bathing, everything has to be done. At that time we did not have much support also, professional support. So she was worried about all that. So the last day, she was dosing and I was telling her, don't worry. God gives health, He takes away health. He gives life, He takes away life. He is looking after. If I think I am the one who is looking after, then it's my folly. You allocate a duty, when your job is done, He will transfer. So it's okay. But the most important thing is think of Him and leave. But I just wanted some sign, and the Vibhuti came, that's how Vibhuti came. And the next day, she was on life support. So we had to turn off life support. So I approached the hospital people and said, I would like to move her to a room, different room, small room. We would like to have some prayers before you turn. They said, okay. So I told, some youth, just like here, there are some youth in Toronto also. They sing very well. Actually, at home, every week, at least twice, they will come and sing bhajans or practice whatever you want. So they were all very attached to it, so they will come and pray. So they said yes. So then when I went, they said, we don't want to move her from the ICU because while moving, something may, some connection or, everything is life support. Something may come off and she may pass away. So, you will feel trouble. So let her be in the ICU itself. You can pray there. So I said, there will be a small crowd, about 20, 25. They said, it's not a problem. I said, we may be a bit loud, noisy. It may disturb. Then that doctor laughed and said, most of the patients there will not be upset. Because they are all under sedation. Then I said, but their family members maybe there, they may be. Then he said, they will be understanding. So I said, 25. He said, no problem. In the end, there were about 60 people. And we had an hour-long bhajan. And they turned off. I said, turned off now, So it was one of the best bhajans, I would say. And that's it. So these are, when somebody dies, where do they go? See, if we believe that Swami is looking after us here, Swami is looking after there, why should we worry? What are we worried about? Because wherever we are under His care. Once you cultivate that faith, nothing should trouble anyone. We should not be selfish. Maybe they got promotion. You don't know. Will you grudge somebody who got promotion in life, except for selfish reasons? So actually, everyone who dies is actually promoted. Because they have passed this class. This class is not needed anymore. Another class. So we should be happy. If we are holding them down, that means it's for our selfish. So I think we should not worry that we don't have them because it is selfishness. We should not worry that no one will take care. The God who look after them here only is going to look after. If we do not understand or believe, and it's not part of our life, we will always be sad. See, Swami, to his brother, he wrote this poem in 1940. I don't know, everyone should know. Akila Manavulaku Ananda Manavurchi Rakshinchu Chundute Dikshanaku. Like that, that's the Padyan. And his Swami is telling his brother what his life mission was. In that there is one line, he says, Manchi Chattala Kuda Manasulo Samamuga Bhavinchu Chuttade Bhaktina. If you are a bhakta, a devotee, you should treat good and bad as equal in your mind. If you are not doing that, then there is no bhakti. This is Swami's definition. So, this is something which I always repeat myself for. I have repeated because Swami has given enough situations to learn this. I remember September, my twin boys, I have twin boys. Both of them are autistic. One is non-verbal, the other one is low functioning. So when they were diagnosed at the age of 3, for most parents, parents usually build, castles, of their children, their future, career, this, that. We live in the future. Swami says, don't worry about the past, don't think about the future, present is more important. But can't help it, we will say, oh, my child will be this, he will go to school, maybe he will get a degree, he will get a job, and he will live very well, he will get married, he will have children, and his children it repeats. And these are imagination, which is the normal people. The world, everyone has it. So that got crumbled, it's just dashed. You think I'll be the ideal father, we will bring up children. And then the reality is, when they were conceived, my father-in-law got up and Swami gave Vibhuti and Vibhuti came home. They were delivered, my father-in-law got up and said, Swami, my daughter has delivered. Swami gave Vibhuti, Vibhuti came home. They were diagnosed, she got up and told Swami, Swami gave Vibhuti packets came home. So in life, we think something, the way we have an expectation of how our life should unfold. And we are sad. Why? Because we think purpose of life is to be successful in this world. See, so some people say, oh, this child, he is not studying, he has not read, he can't speak. Like one of my son, I'm telling this because these are things which help me deal with it, okay? So one of my son stopped talking. When they were up to 3, they would chant the Gayatri, they would sing Arati, they would sing Asatoma, they would sing Paramam Pavitram Sarva Vibhuti. At the age of 3, everything stopped. Suddenly up to stop. So maybe something went wrong. We looked and looked. They say there's some terminology in the medical profession. Some autistic children, they say something breaks at some point. I don't know what it is. So one of them stopped talking completely. The other one stopped, but then he started talking after a couple of years. I never prayed to Swami that he should cure them, because I thought I should pray for something better. So the only prayer, if at all, about my children, I said, Swami, I know you are taking care, but I will be happy if this fellow who is not talking, at least he says Sai Ram, I will be happy. Nothing else. He doesn't need to do, but just for my satisfaction. Because I know you are looking after, but I will feel happy. That was the only prayer I had about my children. Because, see, we think a child, unless he studies, practices, knows that Swami is God, he may not even improve in life. But the reality is, it is like the butterfly, it goes into a cocoon. We think nothing is happening. And there's a story of somebody is saying, a butterfly is trying to come out, you break it open, the butterfly can't fly. But the metamorphosis happened inside the cocoon and we don't even know. So no life in this world is actually wasted. So that fortunately, Swami's grace, I have that understanding. So I used to pray. But my son today, he is 26 years old, but that son, he can't even tell no sentence comes out. At the most he can ask some food items, he would say orange, fries, lunch, like that, so he can say nothing else. But he walks around the house singing, Sai Tumaho, Ram, Tumaho, like that he's singing bhajans and walking around. So, we don't know what goes on in anyone's life, including ours. We may go through 60 years, 70 years. We really don't know the metamorphosis happening, because we are actually distracted by the world. So I think we should, so these are things which prepare, that purpose of life is completely different. God is in charge. We should not have any expectations how our life should unfold. The only thing which matters is every day we should ask ourselves whether we have thought of God. So Swami has told everything. This just courses. Fortunately for me. So now you understand why he made sure that I read the Vahinis in 84. He said, all these courses will not help you, Ra. You need to study this if you have to face life. Okay? If I am telling you all today, that's a message from Swami. Otherwise, I don't need to have been brought here. If at all I have faced Swami and Swami's teachings, which is equally available to everyone. He has given the best of treasures. There is a story, maybe I will tell a story just to make it, it should not be a story about me. Swami also has told me, at what time am I stopping?
3:45.
Okay, just tell me, brother. So there is a story, there was a rich person, rich family. They were in the farming business. They had one son. The fellow was a lazy fellow. They tried to tell him, look here, you have to work hard, nothing. He was eating and sleeping and just whiling away his time. So what they did, they had a lot of wealth. They said, this we can't give it to this fellow, he will spend it away. So they dug the ground behind their, the farm area and put all the treasures in different parts of the ground. And they died. This fellow was not told where the treasure was. Their thing was one day he will think he has to do farming. He will farm, and while doing that he will find it. Because by then he has learned that he should work, then he can have the money. That was their. This fellow should stand. He didn't know, he didn't want to try. He will sit outside and apparently he will beg outside his home. And people used to take pity and give him, a penny here, a penny there. With that, he was making his livelihood. One day he became weak, diseased, and died. The village people wanted to bury him. So his parents were apparently buried in the backyard. So they went to bury this fellow. So when they dug, they found the money. So then they felt, this old couple, they must have been hiding their wealth. They were laggarding, they were scolding their parents. But there was one wise man who came and told them, look here, they had hidden it little. There was a little bit of effort needed. If only he had paid that, he would have got it. Okay? That is our story also. Swami has left all the treasures in his teachings. If we are not going to do some plowing and find out, we will also die one day like that poor fellow. And then somebody else may dig out the wealth. And hopefully they will learn from that. So I think Swami has given all the teaching lessons. We need to know we are not the body. And everyone talks about we have to go beyond the form, attachment to the form. I think that was the topic yesterday. Before you lose attachment to the form of God, we should lose attachment to our form before you lose attachment to the God's form. This many people do not understand. Until we learn and we are totally convinced that we are not the body, we are not the mind, we have to hold on to the form of the Lord. The day we go past the idea of we are not the body, we are not the mind, then you can let go. Because you will fly. Otherwise, if you lose it, you won't fly, you will go in the other direction. Which is what happens. We'll say, I am God. God is everywhere. If we go to the lake, can you drink the water? Water everywhere. Water everywhere, not a drop to drink. I think there's a poet, I guess. This is our Lord. We'll say God is everywhere, but we are unable to drink that Lord. Okay, I think there are some of these concepts Swami has taught, but we take half-baked, pick one, and sometimes delude ourselves. So if we are devotees, again I will go to another Bhakti Sutta. Swami has quoted that. Swami is telling, it says, Yallabdvan, Yallabdva man, Tripto bhavati, Stapto bhavati, Matto bhavati, Atma Ramo bhavati. These are qualities of a devotee. Before we spread love everywhere, we should know whether we have filled our container with love. At that point in time, we should be santripti, means total contentment. We should not have worry, we should not have fear. At that point in time, we will be ready to spread the message of love. Spread the message of 5 values. Until then, we have not even scratched the surface of the 5 values which everyone talks about. We go about sub-value this, sub-value that. It is like eating a sub, it is, we have not understood what exactly Swami meant. See, if you all go around the world and ask any person from any religion, we have these 5 values. Truth. They will say, we are already practicing. Right conduct, dharma, we don't break the laws. Love means, yes, we love your neighbors, we give, some charity. Peace, we don't fight with anyone. Ahimsa, we don't hurt anyone. So everyone is following. Who is not following in this world? So what did Swami come and teach? What Swami came to teach, my understanding is to get a better understanding of this. So if we can cultivate a little bit of fraction of devotion, you can face any challenge, any loss. Because you have faith. The Lord is my keeper. The Lord is keeper of everyone. I am just trusting. So I hope that answered the first question. It's my understanding and I am trying, and that has helped to some extent. Did you ever ask Swami why you have to go through this? I never asked Swami why I got an admission in Swami's institution. Why he even talked to me. When things are going good, we never ask. When things are going bad, we ask. But Kunti actually told the story, ask for difficulties. Then you think of the Lord. I talked about 5 years ago, the 3 days, 27, 28, 29, and today it's 5 years after, 27, 28, 29. That prepared me to enjoy this in full. Swami says, na sukha, from sukha, na sukha labhyate sukha. Okay? From sukha, you will not get sukha. From happiness, you will not get sukha. So everything comes, which I have heard so many times. Swami saying, and how can I ask Swami, why should I have to go through? He will say, I have already told you. Na sukha, sabhyate sukha. Only through difficulty you will get. See, Swami, many people think, we want golden age. So we think, what is golden age? There won't be adharma in this world. Everyone will be dharmic. There won't be sorrow, everyone will be happy. This is our imagination of golden age. Swami said, in the world there will be always adharma, there will always be dharma. Just the way there is light and darkness. Just the way there is a Lakshmi and Alakshmi, Jeshta and Kanishta. Lakshmi has an older sister called Jeshta. I don't know how many of you know Jeshta. So apparently, Swami tells the story again. Apparently once Lakshmi and her older sister wanted to know who is more beautiful. So they went to the Trimurtis, Shiva, Vishnu and Brahma, and asked them the question. They knew it's better to avoid answering this. So they said, apparently, we don't want to get involved in this. You have to find somebody else to answer this. Like politicians, I guess, dodging the question. So they went to Narada. Because Narada, he goes around and he has seen enough people. So he may know, who looks better. If there's anyone else better looking than us, all this. So they got hold of Narada. Narada normally creates some problem to solve. But this time he thought about it and he sent them to apparently a Banaras, a very rich merchant. It's a devotee. He said, you go to this fellow and ask. And so both Lakshmi and older sister went and asked this fellow this question. That fellow was really worried. He was a rich merchant, whatever he says, if he says Lakshmi is better, Alakshmi will cause problem. That's the problem for him. If he says Alakshmi is good, Lakshmi will leave. So he thought for a long time, and then he said, okay, both of you just walk up and down, he told them apparently, so they walked up and down. Then he told, see, both of you look beautiful. Jeshta, Lakshmi, when she's walking away from me, from behind, she looks very, very beautiful. Lakshmi, not so good when she's looking, but when she's coming towards me, she's very, very good. So Swami told this story. So in this world, dharma and adharma will always be good. We need to know what should be discarded, what should be taken up. Swami talks about this in Rudram and Chamakam. Namakam is all about name, not mine. Chame, it's mine. So Swami says you should know what you should give up and what you should take. You take a banana, you throw the peel, eat the fruit. You can do it opposite also, some people can. Some people can eat both. These things. So in life, there will always be difficulties, always bad things. You should be able to deal with it. So when bad happens, take that as prasadam, because that will take you towards the Lord. When good happens, that's a blessing from the Lord, that also you accept. So these are all, and I am just parroting, okay? I am parroting so that I remind myself, so that I also can, try to practice, so that's that. So I don't ask Swami why this happens to me. Okay? We need to know what to do with life. So, never problems will go away from this world. We should not dwell on that. We should dwell on the Lord. Because the problems have always been there. Mahabharata, Ramayana, when has no problems been there? So it is always there. Okay? Your hand is so full, still you do all organization work, always have smile. Okay. See, Swami taught me one of the first lessons Swami taught to us, you should be happy. I think I have told this story, I think many of you may have listened, so I don't want to repeat it.
Go ahead with the story.
Again, I think maybe some we have not heard. Pardon, it's okay?
Yeah.
That was the first lesson Swami taught for me. So in 1979, I came to join Puttaparthi. Brother Tribhuvan also joined at that time. It was a wonderful time. So Puttaparthi was a new college, and my brother had asked Swami whether I could come, and Swami said yes. So my mother brought me, and Swami gave us all interview. My mother had to go back, her visa was expiring. So I got admission. Swami gave us interview. Swami asked, "Hey Rowdy, you want to really study here?" Then Swami, then my mother left, and I got admission and I joined the college. See, I was in a new country. Everyone was talking in their regional, Karnataka boys will talk in Kannada among them, so Telugu boys, Hindi. And even if they spoke English, it sounded very foreign to me. And my English was foreign to me. Accents didn't match. So I felt alienated. The only person who I thought I know and who I thought he knows is Swami. So Swami used to spend a lot of time with the students. Very few of us walk around and talk to everyone as much as possible. Every day, morning and evening. But the problem was, Swami was not talking to me. Swami ignoring, I talked about ignoring earlier in the morning. That time also ignored me completely. No talking, no smiling, not even looking at me. 1 day passed, 2 days passed, 1 week passed, 2 weeks passed. I was becoming miserable. So I started writing letter and giving to Swami. Swami, please talk to me. But Swami picked up every letter without looking at me. Many times Swami will be talking to somebody and his hand will reach and take my letter. It went on for a few days and I was becoming angry and sad. And one day Swami called, in the morning, he called me and my brother for an interview. Elder brother had come and Swami gave interview. We trooped into the interview room, Swami closed the door, came inside. and looked around at everyone, and when he looked at me, his face changed. His eyes became blood red. He said, "Get out. Why are you here? I don't want boys like you here." He turned to my brother and said, "Take him now itself, pack his luggage, put him in the bus and go. I don't want to ever see him again." I didn't know what had happened. I started crying. And then Swami went around talking to others. Then there were people laughing, so I opened my eyes. As soon as I opened my eyes, Swami turned and again scolded me. He said, "Why are you still here? You should go. I don't want you here." Again I continued to cry. So I cried for about 45 minutes. Swami, individual, I don't know whether you know, Swami had an interview room, big one, and there's a small one where he will talk to people privately, individuals. He was doing that, and at the end he said, "Now you come." So I went inside. And Swami told me, "Why are you unhappy? Why are you sad? Why are you not happy? I don't want people who are not happy here." He said, "I have brought you from thousands of miles away. I have given you admission and you are here. And you are not happy. You are saying, Swami is not looking at me, Swami is not talking to me, Swami is not smiling at me, and you are unhappy. You don't know what I have done for you." They just looked there, and I looked there, and there was a wall, and for a minute the wall wasn't there. He said, "Look at those boys. They would prefer to be in your position, and they are crying. And you are sitting here and you are crying. You don't know, my love is of 1,000 mothers, and I don't know when you will understand. If you are not happy, don't be here." And he walked out. I didn't know whether I am staying or going. During that, actually, one of the things he told was, you know what you have written in your letter? You wrote that Swami's heart is like a rock. I said, "No, Swami." He said, "No, I have the letter up here, I will bring it." I said, "No. Okay." Because, these poets write, "No, God, your heart doesn't it melt, at my plight," like that, You read some of this literature and you think, okay, I will also write Nindastuti. So I wrote. My thing was, I'm not a lawyer, but there was a point, I didn't say that, is it like a rock I asked, I didn't say you have. That was my point. But you can't argue with Swami. And of course, I did not want to argue there because anyway he's throwing me out. But when Swami let me go, I just fell at his feet and I sobbed. And he picked me up and he said, "Bangaru, don't cry, I will always keep you with me." And he said, but I learned that whatever happens, I should be happy. And I think in that 45 minutes, I cried enough that he wiped my tears forever. And that is his blessing. So if I am able to face, it is only because of his grace. It is not my effort. My effort is only to hold on to his feet. It's the way I look at it. And somebody asks, how do you find time? See, in a day we only have 24 hours. We may sleep for 6 hours, 5 hours, 4 hours, then we have time. We can only do what we can do within that time. Do what you can, what you can't do, you can't worry about. But within what you do, you have to choose what to do, what not to do. But the reality is, you do a little bit and he will do the rest. So he is someone who has come and done household chores for Sakubhai. He has done all kinds of things for his devotees. But we are worried. I can stand and say, if I die, what will happen to my children? Yes, which is a very practical thing, What should be the answer? I only think he has assigned me a job. If he wants to transfer me, then he will have to find somebody. The child is not mine. He is just in my home and I am given a job. As Swami says, you should be like the school principal who look after all the children, and one day the transfer order comes, he will just get moved to the other school. They will find another principal, another teacher. So I think we need to see this story Swami has already told. The advantage is you read, remind yourself, remember, recollect, then it will help. We usually read the newspapers. Swami says next day it's waste paper. We want to know everything else in this world. We spend a lot of time listening to news. If it's a current affair, we need to know, otherwise we can't live. All great devotees, they live because they only read the story of the Lord. But we don't have that faith. I would say, even that faith, strength, memory, everything He will give. Yes, we need to allocate the amount of time we can to the Lord. Even little bit. It comes bountifully. I'm just telling myself, I'm sure all of you are also coping with that. So, everything you do as, I can tell, today, if I'm here today, it's miracle. 4 or 5 years ago, I couldn't do this. Now it's unimaginable that my wife is not there, my boys are there, 24 hours they have been cared for, and I could come. For a long time I didn't go out because I just couldn't. People call, I couldn't. But that's also His will. If I couldn't come, I wouldn't have come. If I could, I will come. We should just accept things as they evolve. We should not have an expectation. I'm giving a speech, I may, make a mess of it. I shouldn't worry about it. I just talk. The experience you get is coming directly from me. It's independent of me blabbering here. Otherwise, I will be stressed. What will I tell? Will they be impressed by me? What is there? And just let the Lord do His magic. That's all. Okay, those are the questions I had. I've finished. Any questions? Otherwise, I will. While somebody is looking, I will tell a nice humorous story.
Yes.
So everything in Parthi is a lesson. Once one devotee, who was a regular devotee, had come to Parthi. I think it was during one of those, my waiting periods. He came, I think he came with his wife. Swami, every day he was picking up for interview. Every day. Morning and evening. And whenever he picked up, Swami will say, go inside. He will tell something, he will say, go. So he will go inside the room. Swami will go. And after about 10-15 minutes, they will come out. So I still remember, because I just etched in my memory, because I was waiting to talk to Swami, but this person was going morning and evening every day. I thought, what is Swami talking to him? Why is he spending so much time? It went on for about 5-6 days. So I was thinking, I should get the secret from this person, what merit he has done. So, but after about 6-7 days, when Swami said go, he refused to go inside the interview. Swami said, go. He said, Swami, no. Can you believe, somebody who is not going inside? Swami became angry and he said, go inside. He said, no, Swami. Then Swami burst out laughing. Swami said, Koblav. He called his wife. So what had happened was, every day apparently Swami was going inside, closing the door, and he was going inside. He would say, sit here, and he will go inside. He will come back, open the door, and they were coming out. Okay. He was getting interviews daily. Pardon? At home. In the room, he was getting interview from his wife. Because she said, did you tell Swami that I am here? He said, no, I couldn't tell. How will anyone believe? This person is going every day morning and every day evening for 15-20 minutes, getting interview. And what did Swami tell? He didn't say anything. But she was not having it. So I think she must have given some ultimatum. So he refused to go. He said, Swami, even if I don't get your grace, it's okay. So Swami burst out laughing. But it seems like a practical joke. But I realized in this world, we imagine about anyone's experience and feel either jealousy, either anger, but we really don't know what goes on in this world. So it's the same thing in this world. God's grace, how it applies to anyone, we don't know. At the surface, things may look different, things may change. But it's all Leela. We all should each understand that don't worry about what happens to anyone. Just focus on your own sadhana, your own connection with the Lord. You don't have to have an intermediary. Connection is with the Lord. See, that lady could have prayed to Swami. She was beating up the husband at home. Actually, so it's a lesson. Swami explained what was going on. I was not giving interview, he was getting interview in the home. But Swami made it a public spectacle, So every small thing Swami did was a lesson. These are some different ones, Maybe another story I will tell. See, Swami think any word, any question actually is, we may never understand the meaning. So in my 79, when I had gone to join, one day, it was noon, we were about to have lunch. Somebody knocks on the door of the room where we were staying, and it was a Sevada. He said, there's Arivadithan in this room, that's my brother. He said, yes. He said, Swami is calling. So he ran. It was 3, I think C8 or something like that. A8. I thought Swami is calling, so I also ran behind my brother to see what was going on. It was around noon time, The premises were all empty. So I stood outside, my brother went inside, he was ushered in, he went into the interview room. He was there for about 10-15 minutes and he came back. So I asked him what happened. So he said, I will tell you, and he took us home. And this is what he said. Swami asked me, what is your name? So I told my name. And then he asked me, what is the meaning? So I told the meaning, which Swami has told me. And then Swami said, you can leave. He told everyone apparently, did you see? And then he said, you go out. So what had happened about a few months before this, apparently Swami stopped by. He was a student, Vrindavan at that time. Swami one day stopped and asked, what's your name? He said, my name is Arivaditha. Swami tried to pronounce it apparently. He was not getting it. So every day he was coming and asking, what is your name? He would say Arivaditha. Then Swami was trying to, and apparently after 4 or 5 attempts, Swami got the name, Arivaditha. How the Lord plays this game. He was asking, what is your name? Arivaditha, see, he will tell. Then one day after that, he said, okay, now what is the meaning of the name? So he said, Swami, it's Arivu means knowledge. Aditya means son of knowledge. Swami said, no. Your name should be Arivu Aditya. It should be beyond knowledge. You didn't get the meaning right. Arivaditya means Arivaditya, that's you're beyond knowledge. So Swami again, he repeated the same thing. Every day he will ask, what is your name? He said Arivaditya. What is the meaning? Swami, beyond knowledge. Good. So it went on for a few weeks. So he was fully trained. Then apparently Swami broached this topic in the interview room. I mean, there was Kudambara, Kasturi, Bhagavandam, Radha Krishna, some small set of people. So Swami asked, this boy, what is his name? Arivadita. Do you know the meaning? So people have said, Swami is son of knowledge. He said, no. It is beyond knowledge. Swami told. Then Swami said, no, Swami, it's like, he said, okay, we will ask from the fellow itself. So he sent word and that's how my brother went. So my brother went and said, Swami, it's beyond knowledge. Swami said, you saw? It's his name and this is the meaning. Then they all said, yes, Swami. Then this went on for a while. And then that's the only story I knew. So it was about 10 years ago. But I thought, why is Swami wasting his time? In just some silly things, again and again asking the name, telling the meaning. At that age, about 10 years ago, I realized he's asking because he's not asking the name of the body. He's not asking the name of the mind. He's asking the name of the Atma. So when Swami says, where are you from? He wants you to meditate on the question, where are you from? See, in Chinese Buddhism, Zen Buddhism, they have this koan system, That's the Guru will give a question. In your life, you spend meditating on that question. So, inadvertently, I was meditating on this question. Though Swami never asked me my name. So, I thought, I have understood now. So, I went to my brother and said, Anna, I got this, sudden feeling, because it has been working on me for a long time. When he asked you, what is your name? He was not asking the name of the body. The name of the body was given to the body. But your real name, means your Atma's name, is Arivadita. So now I understood. Then my brother told me, oh, then you don't know full story. Apparently, one day Swami stopped by, after this episode, one day he stopped by and asked him, what is your name? He repeated the same thing. What is the meaning? Then Swami asked the question, do you know what is beyond knowledge? He said, Swami, I don't know. God. Then Swami, I'm asking about your name. You are not God. What is your name? What is beyond knowledge? Then Swami apparently said, love is beyond knowledge. Prema is beyond knowledge. So, Swami plays this, it looks very simple, but every word which came out of it, if we contemplate, where are you from? What is your name? When did you come? Everything is spiritual sadhana. So actually, I was talking to Brother Tribhuvan, Swami gave us so many lessons. We didn't understand 99%. But now we sit back and think and recollect the amount of... See, Swami says, Tharva, Tharva, there's another padyam. I will call this. Again and again you rub the sandalwood, smell will come. Again and again you rub the wood pieces, fire will come. Again and again you churn the milk, ghee will come. So Swami's teachings are like this. We have to contemplate, and through that, slowly, trickles of it will come and it will help us, and we'll find that essence in all of us, which is nothing but love. But it's a lifelong journey, many lifetime journey. Swami has brought us all today to think about it. So the lessons are all in the treasure which he has bestowed on all of us. We should not forget, even after getting. We should do a little bit of churning. We should allocate some time to contemplate. And we will find that love that will give and give. It exists for giving. May Swami bless us all to take one more step in that direction, in that journey. and so that we can taste that Sudha, that honey. Prema Sudha, Rasa Bharasudha, you know, Swami said. Like the Chataka birds, we should taste that. I pray that Swami bless us all with that, the greatest boon which he has come to give, he still gives and distributes. And Sai Ram to all of you. I thank every one of you for having given me this opportunity, inviting here Guru and spend time thinking of the love of the Lord, compassion. Thank you very much, Sai Ram.
Salam everyone. When my wife and I usually drive over long distance, she usually asks me, well, multiple times she's asked me, when I'm quiet, when I'm driving, what's in your mind? I'll say nothing. Then she'll say, oh, you're in your empty box. I said, yes, I'm in my empty box. But now, thanks to Brother Arun, I have an answer for her, that I'm keeping my empty box so that Swami can fill that empty box with his love and grace. My father, when we were growing up, used to say, the fact that you are born in the contemporary age of the Lord is sufficient. You don't have to get his interview. You don't have to have anything. All you have to do is do your duty. Brother Arun very nicely, aptly put that sentence, Dasoham Tavasainata. Dasoham Tavasainata. I'm not going to hold you for another minute, or for more than another minute, before you enjoy the wonderful bhajan that's coming up. Thank you, brother, for taking us through the journey from the bottom of all of our hearts, for taking us through the journey and showing us some nuggets and practical lessons so that our monkey minds shall always rest in Swami's hands. And for showing us that Swami's love and grace is a fuzzy math that we'll never understand. As a token of our appreciation, I would appreciate Brother Pradosh to give a bouquet to Brother Arun.